drop a beacon, but it'll be a while before anyone finds us. Years, even. I miss you.
Wake me when you need me.
Hello, and welcome back to the Appalachian Gamer, and before I start on my Halo 3 rant, I would like to ask you to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Comment what you would want to see next, what games I should cover or play. I'm trying to get my Twitch up, so go follow me on Twitch. All the links should be in the description for my Instagram, Twitch, and all of that. But I would also like to say this part will be broken up into two parts. This is part number 1 about Halo 3. But I will also be covering Halo 3 ODST in its own separate video since it's so short, but I kind of don't want to make this a huge, long video. But let's hop into what I thought of playing Halo 3 for the very first time. Now, playing through all the Halo games, I just completed 3 and 3 ODST, so I'm on my way to Reach, and I know nothing about Reach at all, but let's go through the different things that I thought for Halo and the story and everything. So, going over Halo, it released in 2007 by Bungie. It was supposed to be their last game ever, completing the story and everything, since Halo 2 ended on a cliffhanger that everyone hated, but this was the game. Halo 3 was the game to play. It had so much hype around it, and they knew they had a lot more time to work on it than Halo 2. And it came out on the Xbox 360, actually, like I just showed in the beginning. So this is my copy of Halo 3 that I have. There's the back of it, and there is the disc. No manual. I do not have a manual, which is sad, but I'll get a complete copy one day. The cultural impact that it had on the entire world was crazy. It was being covered on the news. It was being covered by every news outlet, everyone online, everyone at school, work was talking about the launch of Halo 3, which is the only time I've ever seen that hype for a game that everyone's talking about it is Grand Theft Auto the 6 that's coming out soon, hopefully. Gotta wait a year. It's like 363 days now. I'm counting. But it set up just a cultural thing of playing Halo. And the narrative of it, or like the huge ad campaigns, was finish the fight. You were finishing the fight as Master Chief. There were so many things that came out, from Mountain Dew game fuel to giant posters on the side of walls. There's so much promotion art out and on the streets and in like on your normal day things like a Mountain Dew can and stuff like that. But we have Combat Evolved that introduces the Master Chief in Halo. Then we have the Civil War of the Covenant in Halo 2. But now the Halo 3 campaign story. If you want to skip ahead, I will put the time that you need to skip to down in the description if you want to skip the time. Don't spoil it for yourself, but it also is like a 17-year-old game at this point. I'm older than Halo 3, which is wild. But it begins on Earth as Master Chief returns on the ship. Johnson wakes him up and everything. You fight through the Covenant on Earth. The Covenant attacks Earth, actually, and it's in Africa somewhere, in one of the new cities in Africa. You have the Journey of the Ark, which is a Forerunners installation that you get to experience, and there's all kinds of lore hidden about the Forerunners and stuff, but you have 3 or 4 main people in this story, which is Master Chief, of course. You have Cortana, which is tweaking out right now, absolutely tweaking out. and Sergeant Johnson and the Arbiter, and you also have the other woman who was the daughter of the Admiral or whoever it was. But the final battle and the sacrifice and everything of just this game with the graphics, it was just, I get to attach the characters, and Master Chief's death and his cryo sleep, plus the death of Johnson, which I did cry when Johnson died a little. A little tear went down because I just love Johnson throughout all the games. And everything, and the other girl, of how they just killed them both back to back right there. In that one scene, cutscene, which was just absolutely just crazy, and it was wild. But you also have to fight so many things. I can't sum it up in just one video. But Halo 3 was a really monumental game for me, because it introduced me to what the end was supposed to be. And if you don't know, Microsoft knew they had a cash cow, and so they said you have to make 2 more games and then you can leave Microsoft. And so they made Halo 3, ODST, and Reach. And then it went downhill. But we'll talk about ODST and Reach when we get there in another video. But the Covenant has been collapsing, and there's a civil war within the Covenant of just them not believing the prophets and other things. Elites side with the humans and the brutes against the brutes and the prophets, which that was my main struggle, was fighting the brutes, because God, they take a beating. But it's worse than ODST. But the religious movement of the Covenant, everything's just falling apart for the Covenant and everything. The Flood reemerges, of course, my favorite. It's a key threat to all life, and Cortana's message leads to defusing and using an incomplete built ring to destroy the main Covenant guy. I have his name right here. I'm pretty sure the Grave Mind, which was one of the scariest things in the game. Which, the little, I called them booty doors, but I'll put a video or like a photo of them up right now. But I don't like the Covenant doors, like the flesh doors or whatever they are. But the ending is the Chief and the Arbiter split as the Arbiter goes to his funeral and everything. Johnson dies, as I said. Chief is lost in space somewhere in like a craft in a cryopod, so that's supposed to be his death. And his famous quote as Sir finishing this fight, when he ends the game, he says, "Wake me up when you need me." So I thought that was really cool. It could set up for another story and everything, you know, where they could pick up when they had the franchise, because they left it with Microsoft. The legacy and impact. Halo 3 is still most people I meet's favorite Halo game that they've played and wish they could keep playing with all their friends. A Forge mode was introduced where players could create their own levels and everything, which was awesome. There were races on there where you could race warthogs, there were battles and all kinds of stuff. So Forge was kind of like a sandbox mode for the Halo 3 community, which was awesome. Put it in the hands of the community and stuff like that. The stretch out its life and everything. It had a long-lasting on the FPS design and online play, because Xbox 360 was the place to play online games. And it was Bungie's kind of swan song, kind of final goodbye for before leaving Halo. And they wanted, you know, its main story and everything right there. That's where they gave it their all. They gave it their all. Halo 3, which was an epic goodbye to the series and everything. But due to this game, Xbox Live blew up. It was hugely supported and everything, and there were thousands and thousands of people online for the live, which I never got. Well, I did get to experience Halo 3 online before it went down. I had an Xbox 360 at the end of its life. I had Halo 3. That's not my original copy. I sold it years ago, but that was my first time playing a Halo online. I loved it. But I never played the campaign in any of them, so that's why I like to get on here and talk about my experiences with the campaign. And there's just so much to talk about with this game and everything, but I have to say, Halo 3 left a special place in my heart. And I've said this with every single game. But just the graphical jump from the original Xbox to this game, and the story of how they got to create their own world, and this was their last run at creating their own original story for furthering the Halo universe and everything. And this is what a game's supposed to be. This is it. The promotional campaign, the gameplay. It didn't disappoint. I know hundreds of people in my life that have played Halo that I've met, and all they want is that, that original Halo back and everything like that. But overall, Halo 3 is probably my top game right now for all of them. It's contending up there with Halo 2, but at the end of when I play all the Halo games up to Halo Infinite, I'll make a tier list and I'll rank all of the Halo games. But this is the Appalachian Gamer, and I hope you have a great, great day. And remember, finish the fight.